Oh my gosh. I've done a thing, everybody. If you've ever sat through any of my videos, you've watched me struggle over and over and over trying to cut rocks without a proper way to cut rocks, and I've finally done it. Took the big plunge and I bought a 14-inch slab saw from Highland Park Lapidary, and I am so excited to check it out and see. So I'm gonna open this thing up, get it put together, and cut some rocks. In case you're wondering, you literally need 3 tools to put this entire thing together. You need a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, because there are about 4 screws. You don't know what a Phillips head screwdriver looks like. It looks like that. You'll also need an adjustable hammer or the proper sized wrench to fit on the nut for the blade, and some kind of blade to cut this thing open, because there is a lot of tape and banding and stuff that you'll have to get through. The packaging on this thing is serious. I mean, it would have to get hit by a truck to get damaged. Super thick cardboard, padding all around. On the top and the bottom of this thing, they put some really nice, damn near furniture grade plywood. Hey, I'll take any free wood I can get. My first impression of this thing is it is built like a tank. I mean, absolutely solid. And just the roll of this thing on the tracks is just so smooth. Here's where your blade mounts up, and your reservoir in the bottom for your mineral oil. This thing, I mean, it's like it's powder coated. Just even the edges, there's no seams or any kind of cracks or metal showing. I mean, it is fully enclosed, which for someone living in a super humid place like Florida, it is great to see it that sealed off. And another thing I really like about this that I noticed is in your reservoir, you're going to have it full of oil. While your blade's spinning, it's going to be flinging bits of rock and oil all over the place. And they've got this lip on the lid design so that when you drop this lid, it seats all the way inside of that tank. So any oil that's flipping up and hitting the lid is going to be sure to drop back into the tank instead of escaping out the sides. I think that's a pretty smart way to keep this thing a little bit cleaner. But just all the parts that I'm seeing, all the components are super well constructed, smooth, put together well. This model has an automatic shut off, so you set how far you want the rock to cut. It's got a chain that hooks to the sled there, and once it reaches the furthest extension, it pulls it off and stops it, so you know your rock is done. About to get the motor installed, so we'll get this thing slapped together and see if we can't get some oil in it and get it running. So that's pretty much it. There's no instructions in this thing, which is surprising, but also at the same time, the assembly was super easy. And then just the operation inside looks pretty straightforward. You got your red knob here, which controls the travel of the sled. You got a little handle on the side that scoots the adjustment in and out. It's a really smooth movement, and I think we're ready to put a blade on this thing. You may or may not need to adjust the sled. You can hear that. If you do, you'll need, I believe that's probably a 4mm Allen key and a 10mm wrench. 10mm wrench is crucial because you use it on the end of your Allen wrench to give you some extra torque. Definitely not OSHA approved. So the nice thing is all it is a little Allen bolt at the top here. So you can just snug that down from the top of the sled, which is pretty cool. Add some oil here. It says I'm supposed to add it to about the bottom of the blade. I think that's probably pretty good. I went to about the top of the little nubby nubs, and I have got quite a bit of juice left over. That was about half of that container for this 14-inch. So that's good. That means I'll be able to clean it and re-add some later. Okay, my first that was weird moment. I pushed it back into place by the power, took the old cable and plugged it in, and it was immediately on. And I did not realize that it looks like you're supposed to plug the motor into this. I was just thinking, hey, that's cool that there's a receptacle on there, because this was in the off position and I hadn't hit the start button yet. So I was wondering why the heck it was running. Well, that's probably why. So let's try and run this cable back to the power and see what happens. We should be able to run now, theoretically. I've missed a step somewhere. You know what it is? That is called operator error right there, folks. Okay, we'll try that again. Back to the on position. No noise. Ha ha ha! Woo! Listen to that. Well, it's probably hard to hear because I have fans on because it's so hot, but without a rock in it, that thing is whisper quiet. So it gets to the end of the line and this pulls and goes boop. And she is shut down. Folks, that's great. The only thing I wish was different on this is that cord is about 5 or 6 feet long. So you will need an extension cord unless you're setting this thing up on top of an outlet. But other than that, I mean, I'm happy. This wraparound cord is a little odd, but I'm okay with it. Because the rest of it I would give a 99.9%. This is just such a solid machine. So and I can't wait to cut some rocks. Mel's going to be home soon, so we'll go ahead and pick something out.
What am I doing?
Oh, we got to figure out what rock to cut. We got a bunch of the stuff from Somerville, the crazy lace looking stuff. We got a ton of just, I don't know, weirdo random ones. I think this is the box that I set aside that seemed like it would be some of the best for slabbing.
Do you want to do a practice rock first?
I do want to do a practice rock. So why don't we test it on some of these agates? Got a whole bunch of those. We're going to cut this agate, and I am just going to cut at a random angle because I have no idea what to expect. Let's get it rigged up. All right, we have got our rock in there. It is in nice and tight. Got our adjuster put on and turned on, so that should shut it off. And now we are ready to start cutting. You want to do the honors?
Let's go, Raphael.
Push that green button right there.
That's the honors.
Yeah, it doesn't respond to cheering. It's quiet though, right?
Yeah.
Until it starts cutting. So this is the sound of it officially cutting now. I don't know if you can really hear it, but it is way quieter than I expected. I know there's a break-in period on this blade, which is why I didn't want to cut a really nice rock, but I mean, if that's as loud as this thing gets, that's pretty impressive. I can barely even hear it, really. Oh. We didn't cut much off of it, did we? So, lessons learned. I'm going to set this a little bit closer. Dong. Right there. That's it. Now, we try again. This is a must-have for this machine, a rag. I figured out the secret to getting all of your slabs to cut the same width. I know there are gauges that you can get that are magnetic that will stick to your blade so you can adjust your sled out or in until you're at the right depth. But if you get a width that you like, you can just use it as a gauge. And I put it up against the blade and then move the sled in and out until I have them lined up. Well, we've been cutting with this thing for a little bit, done some different tests, and super happy with the results with this. I did kind of a half-ass little polish on this end piece just to see what was in it, so I'm excited to do the rest of these, but we get a lot of really pretty nice clean cuts. You got a few cut lines that you can see from the saw blade, but I'm pretty sure those will wear out as time goes by and we break the blade in. But as far as just consistency, we were able to just cut this over and over and over, getting really thin slices, not one single break, really clean cuts on these things. We did swap the blade over, so we've got one side, let's see, I think it was this one, let's see. So we swapped the blade out from the agate eater to the green line, and just to test it, and we noticed, you know, the agate eater leaves a little bit deeper gouges, a little bit further apart. The green line leaves more lines, but they're really close together and not very deep, so they'd be really easy to clean up. So, but we were able to get a really nice thin cut on those. Turned out really nice. And then just tested this guy just to see what, I was just curious what was inside, and it was pretty cool. You know, I can't just point out the great things about these things that I test out here. There are a couple minor weird things, or I don't know that they're weird, but just things to maybe note. The biggest issue that I have, and this is me personally, I've got super fat hands. So this adjustment dial on the side for me to get in and try and actually turn is pretty tricky. So I have to basically grab the end like that to maneuver it, which is not a huge issue. But if I have to make this sled travel a longer distance left or right, it can be a little bit mildly annoying. But like I said, not a deal breaker, just one of those things that's kind of weird. The clamp system is a pretty rudimentary clamp system, but it holds the rocks well. I haven't had anything pop out. If you get it positioned in there correctly, it does a good job of holding it. So I will be upgrading the clamp just to get something that can grip weird shaped rocks a little bit better. But if you're doing larger rocks and you're just maybe going to cut them in half or try and get most of the slab, this does a great job. And honestly, that is the one thing that I can complain about on this. And so if that's all you can complain about, you're doing all right. Everything else is great. Like I mentioned before, this cord from the motor to the power source is a little strange to have it just kind of hanging around, but what are you going to do? The motor's in the back and the power's in the front, so you got to get it there somehow. This thing will take pretty much any blade as long as you've got the right size arbor on it. But that's the green line. It's more of a precision blade, and it works really well. This is the agate eater blade that comes with the unit. This is the one you'll actually get if you order this as is, and it does a great job. I was really happy with that thing. It went right through those agates like nothing. So all in all, what a great slab saw. This thing is awesome. I paid full price for this thing. It was not sponsored, but since purchasing it, Highland Park's made me an affiliate. So if you use the code LearningRocks when you check out, you'll save 10% on what you buy. And little bit will come back my way so that I can make some better videos in the future. So that's about it. I mean, all in all, this is, I have zero buyer's remorse. To Highland Park Lapidary, good job. Keep doing what you're doing. As far as a solid machine goes, I'm really impressed with this thing.